place not for poor and dirty people like you.
The order came out sharp and sudden, cutting through the roar of engines and the hum of the private jet like a blade. Get him off. Now. There was no hesitation in her voice. No second thought. Just authority, cold, practiced, absolute. Two security men moved instantly. One moment, he was standing on the narrow stairway of the jet, hand gripping the rail, trying to steady himself as the wind whipped against his jacket. The next moment, his feet left the metal steps, his body pitched forward, and the world tilted violently toward him. Time stretched. His arms shot out in pure instinct, fingers grasping at empty air. His mouth opened, not to scream, but in shock, raw, stunned disbelief. Behind him, the sleek body of the private jet gleamed under the sun, flawless and expensive, a symbol of power he was being violently removed from. People froze. The two security men stood on either side, arms still extended, palms open, their faces tight with duty and dismissal. Behind them, at the top of the stairs, she stood perfectly composed, tailored suit, immaculate hair, eyes narrowed as she pointed at him like he was something that had crawled where it didn't belong. He hit the ground hard. The impact knocked the breath out of him, but the humiliation burned deeper than the pain. Gravel scraped his palms. His chest rose and fell sharply as he pushed himself up, heart pounding, not from fear, but from the sheer audacity of what had just happened. Around them, silence spread across the private runway. No one rushed to help. No one spoke. She broke the quiet. I don't care who he claims to be, she said coolly. He doesn't belong on this aircraft. He looked up at her slowly. There it was again, that look. The one he'd seen too many times in his life. Not anger. Not hatred. Just certainty. The kind that comes from believing you're untouchable. He wiped his hand on his jeans and stood. I'm not trying to cause a scene, he said evenly. There's been a mistake. She laughed once, short, dismissive. The only mistake, she replied, is letting you get this far. The security men stepped closer again. Step away from the jet, one of them ordered. He didn't move. Instead, he looked past them, into the jet's open doorway. Inside, leather seats gleamed. A glass table reflected the sunlight. Everything about it screamed privilege, power, and access. Things he had built with his own hands. Do you know whose jet this is? He asked quietly. Her smile widened, thin and amused. Yes, she said. And you're not it. That was when something shifted in his eyes. Not anger, not fear, but decision. Fine, he said calmly. Let's do it your way. She gestured sharply. Escort him away. The guards moved again, but before they could grab him, a voice cut through the air. Stop. Everyone turned. A man in a crisp suit was striding toward them from across the runway, phone in hand, face pale and tight. He slowed when he saw the man standing there. Dusty, rumpled, jaw set. Sir? The man said cautiously. She spun toward him, irritation flashing. This doesn't concern you. Handle your assignment. The man swallowed. I think it does, he said. Her eyes narrowed. Excuse me. He hesitated, then turned the phone toward her. On the screen was a profile, name, photo, title. Her face changed. Not all at once. Not dramatically, but in stages. Confusion first, then disbelief, then something close to panic. The runway seemed to tilt beneath her. That's not, she started. It is, the man said quietly. That's him. The security guard stiffened. The man she had ordered thrown off the jet didn't smile, didn't gloat. He simply watched as realization spread across her face like a crack through glass. You said you didn't care who he claimed to be. The suited man continued, voice tight. But he's not claiming. He is. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. He's the owner, the man said. The majority shareholder. The CEO. Silence exploded. The wind carried the sound of the jet engine, suddenly deafening. Her posture collapsed in on itself. That's impossible, she whispered. The CEO met her eyes calmly. You didn't ask, he said. Her hands trembled. I'm sorry, she blurted. I didn't know. If I had known. That's the problem, he replied evenly. You should never need to know. The words landed harder than the fall. Around them, the guards stepped back, faces pale, eyes avoiding his. One of them looked down at his hands as if seeing them for the first time. She took a step toward him, voice shaking. Please. This was a misunderstanding. No, he said quietly. It was a decision. She froze. You looked at me, he continued, and decided I didn't belong. You didn't ask questions. You didn't verify anything. You used your authority to humiliate someone because you thought you could. Tears welled in her eyes. I was protecting the company, she said weakly. He shook his head. You were protecting your idea of it. The suited man cleared his throat. Sir, we should go inside. The CEO glanced at the jet, then back at the woman. I will, he said. But she won't. Her breath caught. Effective immediately, he continued, voice calm but unyielding. You're relieved of your position. Her knees buckled slightly. No, please, she whispered. You represent everything this company is not, he said. And today, you showed it in public. He turned to the security guards. Why did you do it, he asked. They hesitated. She ordered us, one said finally. He nodded. And next time? They swallowed. Next time, he said quietly. You think first. They nodded quickly. He walked toward the jet. This time, no one stopped him. Inside, the door closed behind him with a soft, final click. He sat down slowly, breathing steady now. The adrenaline faded, leaving behind something heavier, but clearer. Across from him, the suited man sat stiffly. I didn't think it would go like that, he admitted. The CEO leaned back. Neither did she. The man hesitated. What happens now? The CEO looked out the window, where the woman still stood on the runway, broken and small. Now, he said, we fix what we've been ignoring. Hours later, his phone buzzed. The video was already everywhere. The moment, the fall, the order, the revelation. He opened his official account and typed slowly. Today I was thrown off my own jet because I didn't look like I belonged. He paused, then added, if you've ever been treated like nothing, I see you. And we're fixing this. He posted it. The response was immediate. Stories flooded in. Anger, pain, validation. He closed the app and leaned back, exhaling. They thought they were throwing him out. What they really did was expose everything. And this time, he wasn't going to look away. If this story touched you, take a moment to like the video and tell me what it meant to you in the comments. I'd also love to know where you're watching from.